They didn't know me once, so I left them with wishes. You know it's a drop when you drain and can't flip it. I'm living big, I swear to God, on Luke ain't kicking. Money, turn it up, mama. Gon' snap her some dope, her hair great like a grandma. You know my ice blinking like Dolce, like a panda. Roll it, hold it, I couldn't control, shout it like a channel. My racks are squeaking on that pot and I hop in that Rari, I crank all like water. Horses don't stop, they keep going. Yeah. You can lose your life, but it gon' keep going. Why not risk life when it's gon' keep going? When you die, somebody else was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digital, we ran on the money, we ran on the digital, we ran on that money, we ran on the digital, we ran on the money. Oh, we ran on the digital, we ran on the money, we ran on the digital, we ran on some money, we ran on some digital, we ran on some money. I'ma move me some dough like confusion. I'ma go in that bit with a ruler. I'ma toast me a nigga like Schroeder's. I'ma keep a red flag cause I'm booler. I know some roller spaces like a duelist. Yeah, I'm screaming on my God like cool. When I snort it, I feel like I was aborted. If I ever ordained it, baby, better drop was bored. I been getting money before the music for Pandora. I just do this shit when I get bored. Nigga, horses don't stop, they keep going. Yeah, you can lose your life, but it gon' keep going. Why not risk life when it's gon' keep going? When you die, somebody else was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digital, we ran on the money, we ran on the digital, we ran on that money, we ran on the digital, we ran on the money. We ran on the digital, we ran on the money, we ran on the digital, we ran on some money, we ran on some digital, we ran on some money. We got London on the track.
Today, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and our projected number 9 seed for the upcoming college football playoffs. And we're going to craft up a squad ride W on the diamond. This is Behind the Lines. Well, Jovan, the Orioles have now lost 7 games in a row. What a fucking joke. 15-31, more than 15 games under 500. You just got swept by the Nats. I haven't seen the Nats sweep a team, let alone the Orioles, I don't think in my lifetime. I'm all for reading a good book in the off season when your fucking feet are in the sands and you don't have a baseball game to worry about. Mid-season when you got a 6 ERA, fucking lock in, buddy. Put the books down. Grab a baseball. Hit the fucking treadmill, Trevor.
Which the Cubs are a team where if you give them like a single-pronged approach, simple approach at the plate, they can only key in on one pitch, which with Mick Abel is exactly what you have to do. They have been demolishing those pitchers every single time they see it. They ain't stopping now. I'm buying in. We're seeing a shootout.
320 feet. I could hit a ball that far. I mean, when do we normalize celebrating pop-ups? Aaron Judge, typical me guy move. Hitting a nuke there instead of just putting the ball in play. And look, he didn't make the dimensions of the park, but he decided to play in them, and that shit pisses me off.
I got too much to live, no time to forget. New chrome, yeah, I got this shit on my head. You grown, shit, no, I don't got time for this. Alone, you just want something.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 736 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. If you're going to the ballpark this summer, shit, maybe you're going to a PLL game. Maybe you're looking to buy your NFL tickets. You should probably get those now before they double in price by the time the season starts. Jovan, handout question for you real quick. Where are the people buying their tickets at? Okay, and you're muted again. People, you're buying them on SeatGeek, folks. SeatGeek, code Bookit10. Sure we can. And
especially if you're going to see that team in DC, Krabs.
Yeah, dude, the tickets are outrageous.
Yeah.
Tickets are outrageous.
Good club out there.
Yep, actually is. Actually is. Have you recovered from the playoff loss to the boys from last season yet? Are you ready to avenge yourself?
I've recovered.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Fresh haircut?
Can't forget, though.
Or beard trim?
Yeah.
Good. Look sharp.
Can't forget about the other team from DC, though. Really good baseball club.
We can actually today. We can.
Wonder why that is.
Can you let the people know what the hell is good with that? Because I can't. And then we can move on. Thank you.
Who was it? Sagano? That was your fade? Krabs put a punishment, a wheel spin online for Sagano, less than 2.5 earned runs, and he gave up 3 before he recorded an out. Landed on no Nats week, so he's not allowed to mention the Nats for the entirety of the week, and he has to give away $50 for every single time he mentions it. So the counter will be active all week.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot. Some donations.
Why don't you just rip one off just early? Give the people a quick 50.
I'm good. Maybe I could pivot to shit talking more about the Ez.
Oh, you want to talk about the Ez?
Maybe I could talk about how Alex Jackson is hitting Happy Gilmore home runs and they still get within 10 games of 500. But they can do Happy Gilmore home runs though.
He's in.
Sure we can. He's in. That actually is the most Orioles should have ever seen.
Today,
home run.
Today we're going to lose a catcher. It's either Stallings or him, and I'm very interested to see who they kick out because Alley's coming back. So,
I mean, respectfully, let's just go ahead and move over Stallings to be the coach.
He's a great defensive catcher though. So I don't know.
Sure. Honestly, just move Adley at this point. Let him sit in Bowie.
I mean, you probably should, to be honest with you. You got a guy in the minors who's going to be better. So why not move him? Talk about ripping the Band-Aid off. Could move him.
He sucks.
Okay. YouTube chat is up and moving. Good to see you goats lurking. We got Ryan, Team Comeback, Haven Hunter, Michael Showers, Scott Quaid, W. Scott says, let's go, boys. I'm hyped for this week. Let's lock in. So am I. We got a lot to talk about today. And for the people who are diehard BTL guys, definitely heard me talking about being down in Dallas this week. And I should have already been down there already, but had a first ever flight cancellation for this morning. Can't make it up. I think it had something to do with those storms by me last night, but I will be down there tonight for potential night sweats in person. Boots on ground. No Goots on ground this time around, but that's okay. And Goots actually might be Goots on ground at the Orioles game tonight, as he should. But I will be down there in the office. I think we're going to do night sweats tonight. So I'll be there. I might be a little bit late, but I'll be hopping on for sweats tonight at the studio. So excited to still be able to get down there. I mean, it's been hectic trying to find a flight that works, but just going to stick with the one that they ended up giving me. And I'll be down there later tonight. So I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, W's. We got a hype train moving and grooving as well. We got Brock D coming in resubbing. 32 months with the best community. Let's have a fucking day. Let's have a day, Brock D. Let's have a day, Brock D. 2 words. Why not us? Why not us? We got T-Bone Steak coming in resubbing as well for 12 months. Sure he can. We got Sade Whiteman. Death Taxes and Sade Whiteman coming in hot, giving a 5-unit sub whale. Let's go, Sade.
Shout out Sade.
Baby. Atta baby. Big Bubs as well. Coming in hot. Let's have ourselves a week. Yes, sir, Big Bubs. Why not us? You guys are goated. We already got subbies in here. Haven't even started going over the plays yet. Haven't even recapped yet. And we're already getting subbies left and right. Hype train level 2. And again, to close out what we were talking about earlier, get your tickets on SeatGeek. If you guys saw the tweet I put up there yesterday, guys, the tickets are cheap on SeatGeek. If you're not using SeatGeek, at least to, it's almost like line shopping, but for ticket purchases, if you're not at least using that in your repertoire to check out, the prices of seats and tickets, you're missing out. Add that shit to your repertoire, download SeatGeek, plug in code Bookit10, and get a discount on your purchases going forward. Okay? Dubs. No comments in the chat there. Nice try, Goots. You think I'm going to fall for that shit? You have to be way more cute than that. Come on now. Come on now. You think I was born yesterday? Come on. All right. This is not going to be easy, though, folks. Low-key, this kind of sucks for me. But as you can see, I have the counter right up here, and Goots will be adjusting as necessary, but hopefully we don't need to move that shit at all. Okay. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, why don't we recap a little bit from last week? Pretty blown about the Royals because that was actually a freebie bingo square, or freebie bingo play.
Love that play from you. The second I think Roth was tweeting about some weather change 2 hours before the game. I was like, fuck, dude. This shit so ain't happening.
Yep. Brutal. Hate to be weatherman, but yeah, good call there. And then there's only one guy who really can be, and it's Roth. And he pretty much called that game earlier that day. So a rare W weatherman move from him. And he was right. I hope you guys rolled it over and locked it in again for the next day. I certainly did. And that shit hit. So we're not going to count it as a squad ride W. Most probably would, but we're not because we're not sleazeballs and we're not, just here to scam you guys. We're here to all win together and be fair and honest. And that's the best way to do it. And that helps out with the gambling gods upstairs too. So hopefully they reward us with a squad ride W today, knock on wood. We're not going to count that as a W, although the bet did hit the next day. And hopefully you guys tailed. We're just going to call it as a, no bet. No bet. Okay. Zach the Demon coming in, dropping a resub. Stros are a mega max today. We'll talk about that game. We'll talk about that game. Yeah. We'll talk about it. You will.
Okay.
You will. And that's all I can say about that. This sucks, man. Goodness gracious. Having to navigate this and weave around talking about it, this is brutal. Brutal.
Has Mike
But
Rizzo's
Jovan-
party happened yet?
Jovan could probably share some thoughts. Gosh, I have factoids and tidbits that I can't even express or talk about. This sucks. But we move. We groove. And let's go and recap the Sharp report from last week. Roll Woods.
Yeah,
Big time
roll
win.
so sharp. Sharp at
Big
you,
time win.
Krabs.
Big time win.
You carried.
Uh,
No fastball from me. Slightly faster from you. Shout out the Elks, though.
Shout out the Elks. What a game. Again. Have not tuned in to a shit game in that league yet.
Dude, I don't even know.
No.
The Elks game was cool, even though that was like a little harder to watch. You happen to catch any of the one yesterday or see any of the
No.
one yesterday on the feed?
No.
Crazy, dude. I mean, first of
Really?
all, just maybe interception of the year by the BC guy, but Hamilton like came back and scored a touchdown with like 10 seconds left to win the game.
That interception was just holy hell.
It was
saying.
just.
Yep.
That might be
Sums
the
it up
best
perfectly.
interception I've ever seen.
It's all right, Krabs. Cards fan here. We literally got nothing for Tommy Edmond. Sade, you're him. Death Taxes and Sade Whiteman coming in here, splooging out subbies. We got Brian C coming in, dropping some subbies. Let's go, Brian C. Atta boy. Atta babe, Brian C. Good to see you lurking in the chat as well. He says, Goats, let's have a day. Yes, sir, Brian C. Only option we got. Only option we got. Can we pull up the Sharp report recap here one more time? I'm sorry, Goots. I like to address all my shit plays, and I want to make sure that people know that we did not have the best day, and I don't want to skate by it here real quick. But WPLL plays, at least on the Sharp report overall, we hit that Sam King less than points. Logan Webb was
nasty.
Yeah, that was a good play. Sam King is
think
unbelievable, by the way. But
I was about to say,
fade there.
wasn't that him? I think the second game he scored 2 in like the
Yeah, he's
first
their best.
quarter.
He's low-key their best
seconds.
offensive player this season. Rookie from Harvard. If you haven't noticed, Jovan, this rookie class in the PLL is insane. And a lot of older guys are losing their jobs because of these young bucks. And it's kind of a problem because you got some of these big-name guys, Matt Rambo, Miles Jones. They can't find themselves, playtime. They can't get on the fucking fields. Although Rambo is now because Rob Pennell just got, healthy scratch, which is also weird. He's in that boat as well. The young guys are taking over. They're just better. There's nothing they could do. These coaches have to play the best guys. And Sam King is one of them. But luckily, got to fade him on his goals. I forget if he ended up going more than his points. I know that was one of Ron Mux's plays. I'm sure that ended up actually hitting. We've got Jovan plus Krabs. Need both of you to pick one square. Life Online for our 4-man collab nuke. Let me know when you decide and what it is. And from Budman. Okay. We can work on that. We can work on that. Okay. Rookie scoring almost half the goals. Yeah, Vanisk. Insane rookie class in the PLL, which is good for the sports. It makes sense. The sport's growing as well. More people are playing it. There's more reason to play in it. As the PLL, the league itself, continues to grow. You should be getting better rookie classes as time goes on. It makes sense, and it's good for the sport. It just sucks not seeing some of the older goats getting playtime out there, but these teams got to do what they got to do, right? W recaps, though, not our best day, but still a fun weekend betting the PLL. We had some fun streams. We did some fun spaces this weekend, a lot of good content. People hate my guts because I told JJ Watt about the rules of the 999 challenge, and apparently I'm a bad person for holding them accountable.
Those are just the rules, dude.
It's the
People
rule.
don't understand. People think that it makes it easier to eat them quicker. It doesn't. It makes it 50 times more difficult if you have to stretch it out.
I'm not falling for that shit, Goots. You got to be better than that in the chats. I'm telling you. You think I'm falling for that? You think I don't got the notice pulled up? Come on, Goots. Look, Jovan, people are calling me grumpy. They're saying, you're just, you're yelling at the clouds. What is the point of chirping JJ Watt? The point is, in the Big 2-5, people, they have no shame and they have no integrity is really what it is, Jovan. There's no integrity anymore in the Big 2-5. People just make up their own rules and they do what they want. That's not how I roll. I'm a rule follower. I am. And back in my day, when you did the 999 challenge, you did one beer, you did one dog per inning. And that actually makes it more difficult because you start to get full about halfway through. And trust me, I've done this challenge a weird amount of times. It makes it more difficult. And all the people saying it doesn't have never tried the challenge. Guys, there's a reason why Joey Chestnut can eat 74 hot dogs in 15 minutes. If you try to make him eat 74 hot dogs in 2.5 hours, he legitimately would not be able to do it because his body would get full. His brain would not let him eat the dogs. Straight up. Look it up. It's science. It takes 20 minutes for your body to figure out it's full. But if you can squeak in all of these beers and all these dogs before it does, you're in business. It's actually easier to front load the dogs and front load the beers. And that's something only a true 999 vet would understand, like me up here. So all the people in the chat, who are bitching about that, unfortunately, they were wrong. And I'm just trying to hold people accountable. Follow the rules of the challenge. Yes, it pisses me off when I see JJ Watt getting all this clout for doing a fake made-up challenge that he bends the rules for. Of course it does. And I'm going to make a video about it and hold him accountable. That's not how the challenge works. It's not the 9-9, 4.5 inning challenge. It's not the 9-9, do it in whatever time frame you want challenge. It's the fucking 999 challenge, brother. It's in the name. It's not rocket science. You might as well just go up to Coney Island and start pounding dogs as fast as you can. That's not what the challenge is about. The hardest part about it is trying to eat those dogs in the 8th and the 9th inning. Trust me, it's damn near impossible. Remember the last time I tried it, Jovan? You were there.
Yeah, that was the gray dog time. The first time, the 10-10-10 challenge, people forget.
The gray dog 999 challenge was equivalent to, the guy behind me right here. When his leg got snapped by Lawrence Taylor, it was a forced retirement, was what it was. A forced retirement. Joe Theismann, remember his leg exploded because Lawrence Taylor was a maniac and absolutely destroyed his leg way before our lifetime. Very similar. Very similar.
Yeah.
It took me out. Forced retirement. It really did.
Was it like, what was so much better about the first time that you were able to eat 10?
Well, I was younger, probably in a little bit better eating shape, fresh out of college. That's one. Number two, the part that I can't mention right now, and you almost got me there, you son of a gun.
Oh shit, man. Wow, GG Class A. Shout out his less than saves.
Wow. Jovan, you almost had me there.
Yeah, got close.
There's some other reasons. And again, the chat's probably so confused. There's some other reasons why I completed that challenge, and I cannot, currently specify them. I'd love to talk about them next Monday. I would. But guys, it's not that hard to just follow rules and do job. Again, if you bend the rules, I'm going to call you out. That's how I roll. Emmanuel Classe has been placed on leave. No way, that's true.
Yeah, he's Luis Ortiz part 2.
Jovan. I thought you were going to say he got traded.
No.
Whoa. Okay, let me process this for a second. Again, if you play in a sport and people can wager on it and you are throwing games, you are the scum of the earth. Let me get that out there on record first off. You are the scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. There's no reason that makes sense in my brain for people doing that shit. Zero.
No.
You are scum. If that ends up being true, holy smokes. And Jovan, at least for the time being, we're seeing how the Ortiz stuff's going right now. It's probably going to take a couple weeks. Shit, maybe even a month. They still haven't figured out the Ortiz stuff. They actually extended his paid leave because they're still looking into it. It might take the whole rest of the season. Wow.
Yeah, that's it's pretty big for the Guardians' hopes. They're one of the hotter teams now because they're playing dog shit teams and they beat all the dog shit teams and they play a lot of dog shit teams as the Tigers are starting to fall apart. And now you lose Class A for God knows how long.
So maybe the Guardians have something going on up there, huh?
Yeah, somebody's got the hook up with the buck.
You're also literally wearing the hat. Can't make it up.
Yeah, accidental foreshadowing.
Wow. Dudes, it's not that hard not to tamper with a major league sport. Go out there and do yob. Now, look, it makes a little bit of sense. Emmanuel Classe And who knows how long he's been doing this shit. The guy has some of the nastiest stuff in all baseball. He was one of the best closers in baseball last season. He was probably the best closer. It was last year when he had that 1 ERA. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or around the 1 ERA. Goodness gracious. And then somebody gets in his ear, and all of a sudden he starts walking people. He starts, throwing balls in the dirt when he typically wasn't in the past. Starts losing some of that command out of nowhere. Okay. Somebody saw something. Interesting. Look, again, I never root for injuries. I never root for sketchy stuff like this. And I'm sure if this is happening on the Guardians, it's probably cost me and Jovan as well, and probably you guys in the chat, some coins at some point. We're always betting on sharp lines. And the Guardians are typically involved in those games. They probably cost us some coins, these scumbags.
We probably, at least this year, benefited it or from it more than anything.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But people need to talk about how both of your season-long save squares have. I mean, it's not over yet. Obviously, he get cleared, but there's just been the most absurd shit to happen to both of those guys.
Both of you are breaking people's careers, left and right.
Whew.
Yeah, dude. Zach
you don't remember?
Blows.
Yeah, he does blow. He actually might be toast.
Toast.
And they just keep putting up
I'm
squares for him again.
Not Manoah toast, but he's toast.
He's toast. God, Manoah as well, man. Manoah's starting to tweet out sad stuff, like reminiscing about.
He's been skating by. What is he doing right now?
Have you not seen his tweets?
No.
He's been posting these like baseballs that are all marked with like dates when he's like come back from injury, and he's got like 10 baseballs. They're all marked. It's like first start back from Tommy John, second start back from Tommy John, first start back from injury, all this stuff. And he's like reminiscing about his career. It's not good.
You should mark one that says first shift at the McDonald's.
Okay.
If he had anything left in the tank, he'd be back by now.
And Trent tweets Class A under saves. What do you tweet?
Okay.
A couple other ones. If you guys don't remember, I'll remind you. I mean, Daniel Baird's. That one we really don't need to go into because that's just kind of sad. But if you guys were not here for the Daniel Baird less than saves, I mean, where were you for that? Because that was a moment in history. It was. By the way, he just retired.
Still hasn't been a better square.
No. In any sport, in any scenario, that's the best square of all time. He had one save. One. The fact that it was one, I feel like is the funniest. It wasn't 0. It wasn't 10 or 5. It was 1. One and done.
Yeah.
One and done. Wow. Okay. People also forget Trent lost to Mima on poker over the weekend. We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah. What happened to that? I wasn't able to tune in.
So, look, he had a pretty darn good tourney. He was also beefing with this dude who's just super annoying and looks like, talk about scum of the earth, just beefing with this guy who just looks like just a human trash can. And apparently him and Trent were beefing, which I thought was pretty funny because, I mean, Trent doesn't beef with anybody. He's pretty easygoing, laid back. He's never causing problems, right? Doesn't like confrontation. Just going about his business. But for some reason, it was like Peter Griffin and the chicken in Family Guy. They just all of a sudden have random beef and they just fight. It was like that. They just hated each other off the rip. And Trent came in the sweats after he got knocked out before he went out that night. And he was talking about it. He's like, who is this guy? We got to figure out who he was. That's how pissed he was. And Trent's never starting, beef or leading the way in confrontation.
Just bitch.
But you could tell there was just right off the rip Moss beef between those two. Trent ends up knocking him out of the tournament, which is hilarious. Imagine getting knocked out by Trent in a poker tournament. Trent makes it to the final table. Doesn't last very long.
He made it to the 3 hands. To the spotlight table. It wasn't like the final table with the final 8 people. But
you're right.
You know that whole family that was at that table? Do you know who they are, Krabs?
Dude, I do now. There was like a bunch of people who were on this like reality show, a family that like was into real estate, and then they went to jail because they didn't pay their taxes.
They just got out. So they just got out of jail. Like, all right, let's do the CPT.
Okay.
Michael Block with the quote of the eon. If you didn't hate Michael Block already, I mean, again, maybe the theme of today is scum of the earth because Michael Block is a scumbag. There's this chick at the table and, he's just pretty drunk on the other side of the table, not near her at all. And out of nowhere, you just hear the mic pick up Michael Block just shouting across the table going, if I wasn't married, I'd be all over you. And the commentators go, what did he just say? And they pan to Michael Block and he's sitting over there in the corner and he's like fucking can't even sit straight. He's like leaning over and stuff. He's got a cup in hand the entire tourney. To each his own. But keep your yap shots. One of the weirdest comments I've heard from anybody in the Big 2-5. I'm such an anti-Michael Block guy. I always have been ever since he said he'd be better than Rory if he could drive as far as him. That's just the kind of shit I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, India love valid. That's a crazy comment.
You know who else is a bad guy? Ryan Zimmerman. Awful guy.
Jesus.
Just worst guy I've ever met in my life. Terrible.
We're going there, huh? We're low blows, huh, Goods? Already? We're
really bad guy.
20 minutes in, you're already going for the gut punches?
Terrible guy.
Goods, he might be overrated.
Yeah,
might be.
I would agree. I don't think he's the best Nat ever. He's a pretty bad player, to be honest.
Goods, you taking Jackson Holiday or Ryan Zimmerman?
Probably the guy who has more Grand Slams with Derek Jeter, Jackson Holiday.
I think I'd agree.
Yeah. At this point in his career, I think it's clear cut. Right, Jackson Holiday is better than Zimmerman.
Anything else? Is that it? You done?
Might be.
I mean, I'll pay $50 to back up my guy Zimmerman. He's the greatest Nat of all time. Fuck Jackson Holiday. Bro, you're doing trick shot home runs from, by the way, a former Ray who couldn't hit shit. Now the Orioles got him. Now he's fucking Barry Bonds. Doing trick shot home runs, Goods, and you can't even get within 10 games of 500, but you could do trick shot home runs. Never seen that before in my life. That's the most Orioles shit I've ever seen. Ryan Zimmerman is the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Let's go ahead and...
Undisputed.
There's one.
Undisputed GOAT. I will not stand for that slander.
Got him.
I'll pay 50 bones to put you in your place. That's one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life. Jackson Holiday over Ryan Zimmerman. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, the more I think about it, that 2019 World Series was so Mickey Mouse, too. They did not deserve that.
30 minutes.
Unbelievable.
You done, Krabs?
Unbelievable. Let's move on.
Good work, kids.
Let's move on. Man. Oh, we got Big Cheesy coming in hot. 14 months of listening to Goots talk about how Kobe Mayo is amazing. W fellas, W Big Cheesy. Way to reel us back in, my man. Sure you can. We got a couple follows coming in as well. It's Stabby coming in. We got Ball Crushers coming in. Billy and Goldfish. Auto Gelato. I think I missed a couple of these. Holy smokes. Turner Mac. W Billy and Goldfish. W Auto Gelato. W Turner Mac. W Big Cheesy. Appreciate you guys. W. Clap it up for them. Clap it up for them real quick. Let's go, boys. There we go. What do y'all think about the Guardians to win the most games the next 6 days at plus 16 hundo? I mean, Nathan, I'm always down to get nasty, but I mean, that might be final nail and cough for the Guards. I mean, I can't even imagine. Again, this is uncharted territory. This is, sports betting's blowing up, and unfortunately, some of the shit comes with that, and it's not good. This is like the only thing that really can fuck it all up, and I really hope that the commissions take care of this stuff and weed out all the bad people who are, scumming everybody else and rigging games. But I can't even imagine what people in that clubhouse are thinking. Half of them probably knew already. The other half are probably thinking, what the hell am I doing here? This team's throwing games. I'm here working my butt off. I might not want to get involved with that, Nathan. I'll be honest. I think you leave that off to the sides. I really do. Jovan?
I mean, yeah. That's I'm all for, I guess, or was all for just going in with the Guardians because the schedule's not incredibly hard. Harder, I guess, in like the next 2 weeks than it is the rest of the year. But I don't know, man. That's not a locker room I'd want to get involved with right now.
Yeah. Larry Bird says this keeps up, might ruin the whole thing. I don't know if it would ruin the whole thing, but it certainly would turn people off from wanting to get involved in it. Or at least it should. Can't be rigging games. What are we doing, man? Clean it up. I'm happy that they're catching people. It's better that this is coming out and they're catching people than nothing happening at all and then it just happening under wraps, right? At least they're coming out, they're talking about it, they're trying to take care of it, right? There's too much money involved.
Yeah.
Too much money involved. You can't fuck with people's money. You can't. How do these people sleep at night? Oh. All right. Ortiz probably snitching. Straight up. Think about it. right? They're probably grilling this guy. They're saying, give us up everybody else who's, pulling this stuff, and you're not going to jail. Maybe it's like the Astros situation, although this guy's probably not going to jail. You tell us, you fess up, and we'll let you go. So weird. I wonder if he snitched. There's going to be an ESPN 30 for 30 doc about this coming out in a couple years. Swear to God. Calling it right now. Plus 100. Lock it in. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. We got too much to talk about today. To just, continuously talking about this Guardian situation, although it is crazy. Let's move and let's groove. And again, thank you for all these subbies coming in hot on a BTL Monday. I appreciate all you goats. I got the YouTube chat up as well. Good to see all you guys active, up and moving on a Monday. Jovan, Goots, you guys ready to talk about some NFL?
Certainly.
Sure we can. Certainties. And again, Goots, please hold me accountable. We're going to have to do a giveaway at the end of the show. Okay.
What if we do it at the end of the week, just after it's over?
You could do it
I
at
was
the
going
end
to
of the
say,
week.
well, you just
Hold me accountable.
spray them at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Terry wants more than what DK is getting. Deal is not close. He should be getting more than what DK is getting. He's better. He should. I don't blame him. Okay. Also, we're going to keep the Coach Prime hate in the Big 2-4, unfortunately. Look, I'm sad, honestly, about that whole situation. And I think the press conference is starting right now. Not ideal. So prayers up for Coach Prime. I know I've been letting him absolutely have it the last couple of years, but when health is involved, I don't fuck around with that. So hopefully he's okay. I know he's going to come out and talk about it. Please keep me updated in the chat, whatever happens, whatever he says. But I'm expecting him to probably step down today because of his health, which is really sad. Even I can admit that's just not good. So if in the chat, let me know what ends up happening. I don't have time to watch the press conference right now, but not ideal. And if that's the case, I will not be fading Colorado anymore in the Big 2-5. Okay. But for now, let's talk about the Titans. God, the Titans are fucking rat shit. But I will say, our head of content, Nick Yale, in our meeting earlier today, had a pretty good point. He said, is Cam Ward the least talked about number 1 overall pick in NFL history? I don't know if I can vouch for NFL history, but
not after the last couple days.
So
he's getting
you like what you're seeing
slurped
from camp.
Okay. I mean, I like what I'm seeing, sure, but the whole world does, and he's starting to get talked about now because of a single throw in training camp or whatever. But prior to that, Yep.
Daniel, we're already on 1 on the counter. I had to do a human sacrifice and just vouch for my guy. So I cannot stand for Goots' slander. You can go back and rewatch on the YouTube if you need to hear it. It was just absolute shit coming out of his mouth.
Howie Kendrick, bad player too.
Poop out of the mouth.
Bad player.
You watch your words, Goots. You watch them.
Kobe Mayo's already better than him.
You got to ask yourself, is this worth it, Goots?
Oh, it's worth it.
Okay.
Trying to pay the people.
All right. Let's circle back to the NFL here. Goodness gracious. The Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward. One of the least talked about first overall picks in my lifetime. Maybe up until a couple of days ago when he starts balling at camp. But Jovan, can you agree with me that most of the time rookies, typically struggle a little bit early on in camp and they struggle a little bit in their rookie year more often than guys shining? So you agree with that statement at least?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Maybe not 100% of the time, but more often than not, right? We've seen, J.J. McCarthy have good days, have bad days. A lot of rookies end up struggling early on, especially when camp got started. Shit, even Jaden Daniels struggled his first couple weeks of camp last year and people were losing their fucking minds. It really doesn't matter. These guys are really just settling in. So it's only a plus, I guess, to hear that Cam Ward is doing well in camp early on. I think that's, maybe a little bit significant. It's definitely more significant than struggling because most QBs do. But again, Cam Ward, I'm excited to see what he can do. You obviously got a new offensive coordinator there in Tennessee as well. You got a new O-line coach. They bring in Bill Callahan, who's a fucking goat. Great O-line coach. And honestly, that might help more than the new OC coming in. And I'm blanking on his name, Holtz, coming in as well. I think the Bill Callahan edition might be even better. So Titans might be a sneaky team this year. They've got a couple other new additions as well. They bring in Tyler Lockett. You bring in Van Jefferson. You bring in, a couple new offensive linemen and Kevin Zietler and Dan Moore. And they draft another lineman as well, but he might be a depth piece. A couple new pieces on that line. and they should be a little bit improved as well there. You look at their defense as well. We already mentioned Cam Ward a ton. You look at their defense and some of the pieces they add. Cody Barton, who went from being just the worst linebacker of all time on the Commanders to being great last year in Denver. Jesus Christ. He's coming over there, and he's going to be probably starting for them in the inside linebacker position. They got Draymond Jones, Xavier Woods in the safety room, L'Jarius Sneed. I think he's hurt, but he's on this team as well. So I like some of the pieces that they add. Joey Sly as well, who just kicked a 70-yarder pretty much yesterday on the feed. Crazy. Love Joey Sly. Always been a Joey Sly guy, and I'll be rooting for him again this year. I like some of the pieces that this Titans team is bringing in. Jovan, fill in the gaps. What am I missing here with the 2025 Tennessee Titans?
Not too much. I will just say I really kind of wanted to get myself to buy into Brian Callahan. And I don't know. After last year, obviously it wasn't all on him, but I don't know that I'll ever get there. I just think he's a average coach at best. And I don't think like the Titans will ever reach their ceiling until he's probably gone. I think they're going to end up moving. I don't know if this is the year that they just say, fuck it, we're going to let it ride. And if he doesn't really pan out and everything doesn't go as they hope it would, they move on. But I don't think he's the coach of the future for them. So that's my one concern. That along with I'm not fully sold in the receiving core that it's at a spot yet that I would feel comfortable. Love Calvin Ridley after that. Aging Tyler Lockett. I kind of wanted to buy into like Treylon Burks having like some resurgence now that this is like a somewhat new regime. He broke his collarbone, so I don't know what the future holds for him. They drafted Io Manor. Maybe he becomes something, but I don't know if they're at the spot yet. This feels like they're going to do what they did last year, except it's going to be a little bit more under control, in my opinion, because we all know Cam Ward doesn't have the same problems with throwing the ball to the other team as Will Levis does. So I think the offense will look better. I just don't know if it's immediately going to translate, but there will be some fun, I guess, upsets that they can pull. They probably will.
This will be probably a week-to-week team we want to back, depending on what the lines are saying, how a lot of their new pieces look, right? I'm not really in the business of making a bet on their win total, but we'll talk about it. They're at 5.5. I probably would lean the over personally. And again, you talk about not being a Brian Callahan guy. I get it, but I do like his pops, Bill Callahan, and I've seen him firsthand when he was in DC. Just a great coach. And look, he's going to be probably helping out his kid and making some decisions as well. So that should help. Bringing in Pops, who's just a very, very one of the most respected veteran coaches in the NFL. To be honest with you, great O-line coach. I think he even was an interim head coach for us for a game at the end of the season a couple of years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. But BZ coming in with a resub as well. WBZ 2-year bang. You're fucking him. I kind of like the over on their win total, but again, I think I'm with Jovan. I'd rather bet them week to week, and there certainly will be spots when we are.
They feel like the Panthers to me, Krabs, from last year, where it's like I feel like everybody's going to be in agreement, whether it's a stretch of games where they get hot like the Panthers, but there will be something there at some point, and a lot of that will probably be Cam Ward. I just don't know that that's going to translate to anything of substance. Maybe it does in the terms of 6 wins, but like as far as going for the division, I don't know if they're there yet, but they might compete depending on who they get in, maybe like next year or the year after.
Okay. Ken Bands coming in hot. Is this the main point from that presser? Deion Sanders and his medical team announced that he had a bladder tumor. Jesus. It has been removed, and Sanders is now cured from the cancer. Fuck yeah, Ken. Fuck yeah, Coach Prime. And that's even me saying that. Let's clap it up real quick for Coach Prime. Fuck cancer and fuck that shit. Even I'm man enough to admit that's great to hear, and that makes me happy. Good for him. Good for him. Good for Coach Prime. Good for Coach Prime. Hopefully he can coach again this season. Okay? That's crazy. And we'll move and groove. Jovan, you're not getting cute enough to say this team can potentially sneakily win the division, right? Plus 600, I feel like is a little shorter than I would have expected, but probably not enough to get me involved. Thoughts on plus
it's the
600
AFC South. It's the AFC South, so like you can't ever say never, because especially if there's like one injury to any of the quarterbacks, I guess can leave out the Colts. Not that they're not contenders, but the quarterback injury wouldn't really do too much for them to be different, I think. But T-Law goes down. The Jags are probably in the situation to ascend, not just because of Travis Hunter, but I think we all kind of agree that they'll be better. But the T-Law injuries, injury prone. We'll see what happens with Stroud. Like one of those guys goes down, anything can happen in the division. Anything can happen, period, because the division's not like made of world beaters. But I don't think this is the year. No.
Okay. Yeah, I like the Panthers comp, and we were kind of in on the Panthers last year, and they still did not deliver as much as we'd hoped, but they showed flashes. So that's probably what we'll see again with the Titans. Could probably expect them to play a little bit better towards the end of the season than early on when they're working out some of these, new kinks with their new players, and try to figure out some consistency there, find a level of consistency with the new QB, a lot of new pieces on offense and defense as well. A lot of new moving pieces, but I do like them. I lean their over on the win total. I think they're at least worth a shout on maybe a sprinkle to win the division or make the playoffs. At only plus 340, it's at least, worth a look. Let's talk about our favorite bets, though, for the Titans in the Big 2-5, Jovan. Let's talk about our best bets. And you mentioned one earlier that I'm happy it did because I agree with you. I'm on Cam Ward less than 10.5 interceptions. Thankfully, Prize Picks did put up the QB interception squares, a category that, is near and dear to our hearts. We usually take something in there every year. I found one that I like, Jovan. Cam Ward's less than 10.5 interceptions. I like it for a bunch of reasons. Number one, Cam Ward doesn't throw picks. I've been watching this kid since he was an Incarnate Word. Doesn't throw picks. When he had shit receivers at Incarnate Word, didn't throw picks. I actually have his stats up here right now. He never had more than 10 picks. And then in Washington State, never had more than 10 picks. Last year on Miami, had 7 picks. The guy doesn't throw picks. He doesn't. Knock on wood. Until I probably just jinxed it right there. But the guy keeps the ball secure. He only makes throws when he knows he can make them typically. And Cam Ward's, look, he's good and bad at some things, but he's certainly not a pick machine like Will Levis was in recent games for the Titans. So I thought it was also a great sign seeing him at 10.5 when there's other QBs, big name guys who are, much, much higher for their interception squares. You got your guy Baker at 12.5, and obviously a little bit of a different scenario when they air the ball out a ton. And he might not be the best example, but most guys up in that category, most QBs have a square that's, higher than this. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. I think Cam Ward is going to try to be extremely conservative, maybe even too conservative at times in the Big 2-5 in his rookie season. I also think under the new O-line coach, they'll find more success on the ground as well. And I kind of like Tony Pollard. I do. And Tajay Spears. I don't know if it's a contract year this year, but it's certainly coming up. And he showed flashes last year at times as well. That's a pretty decent two-headed snake. Nothing to write home about, but decent, at least average. And I think they'll find some success on the ground as well. I think this team will be in more close games and maybe some W game scripts than people are expecting as well. So in my opinion, that means less, garbage time, interceptions late in the games. And that's probably why this number is a little bit higher than a little bit lower, than I initially expected when I thought this would be sitting around, 12.5 interceptions for Cam Ward. So I'm buying in. I want to back Cam Ward, maybe not to go out there and throw for, 4,500 yards, maybe not to go out there and win the division, but I do think he takes good care of the football like he has done at every level in his career. And I want to back Cam Ward less than 10.5 interceptions thrown. Jovan, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I don't think it'll be because of the scheme, though. I think it'll just be because Cam Ward himself is able to take care of the ball that well, which kind of rolls right into mine, which the Titans as a whole are getting slurped now for the last couple of days, and one of them especially is Calvin Ridley. That's the one that I'll kind of buy, partially because, they've been inseparable at camp. They asked, I don't know who made the request, but to put Ridley's locker right next to Cam Ward, so they're best friends now, which is all cool. But I've heard the same thing from every single coach that I've looked and seen interviews from training camp. They're switching efficiency to explosiveness, which when watching Will Levis last year, obviously different situation. Will Levis is fucking terrible. But the one problem I kind of had with the offense and why Callahan really pissed me off watching that is you're using Will Levis like he's Tua. In the sense of you're trying to get him the nickel and dime defense down the field. That's never going to work because that's not Will Levis's game. He wants to be explosive. So why would you not play into that? I don't know. The ball security issues, if you're doing that downfield, it's a punt rather than him doing it on a 5-yard out that gets taken for 6. So if you're switching to that form of the offense, especially if you look at not only what Cam Ward can do, but also the weapons he has, let's be realistic here. If you're trying to get explosive with this wide receiving core, are you going to do it with Tyler Lockett, who's 45? No. Are you going to do it with Van Jefferson, who back a couple years ago used to be like a big play guy, and he still probably has that in him, but on a consistent basis, no. Are you going to do it with any of the rookies? Sure. There's a little bit of upside, whether you don't really know who's going to step up and be the guy. Maybe it's as a teammate from Miami, maybe it's Restrepo, but he's more of like the guy across the field. Like, could be Ahmed or over the top, could be Chamari DK, who I like out of Florida, but those are all unknowns. If you were going to transform this offense to be explosive like it should have been for a couple years now, what the fuck did you bring Calvin Ridley into Tennessee for? You brought him for this. So, like, this has to be a ceiling year for Calvin Ridley, and I especially think it will be, not just because of the scheme, but I think the scheme is also a product of Callahan knowing his back's against the wall, because they're going to bring in a new coach, a new regime, if it really doesn't work out with Cam Ward and what you think is going to be his number one target, not just for this year, but hopefully for a couple years down the road. So you're going to feed your guy. I mean, I think this has 1K written all over it. So he's probably going to be over like the next month, a fantasy darling. That's going to be a sleeper. So it's going to be hard to keep getting in that boat, but it's a boat I don't really care to get out of.
As a dynasty owner of Calvin Ridley, I'm fucking bricked. Sure. Hell yeah. Jovan, I'll tell you what, though. I was looking at this square. I guess I got a couple questions for you. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Were you surprised to see this number this low? Or make me feel better about it, I guess, because I want to buy back in here, and I'm excited to hear you talk about him. Are we concerned about the low number?
No, I'm not concerned. It's just like, it's crazy that people, I mean, you wouldn't think after last year, after how painful that entire season was, especially like if you either had Calvin Ridley or you're betting him week to week. I mean, he had Bagel some weeks, and obviously a crazy quarterback situation. He just ended 17 yards over 1,000. So like,
right. Crazy.
Could it seem a little easy? Sure. But I mean, over the course of like the guys that I've seen on the board, it doesn't seem too out of place, especially after some of like the ones last year that you kind of would think were weird on first look. Like, I don't know, I guess 2 years ago, Mike Evans would have been a better comp for that. But all of the guys that seem to have a new regime, whether it's positively viewed or negatively viewed, get a pretty big negative bump in their yards. So I think this is a lot more of that than what they're actually expecting from them.
Okay. All right. Pretty crazy. I think somebody, Andrew Farmer in the chat, kind of summing up what we were talking about there. Or no, not him, but I do agree. 900 shouldn't be bad regardless. Money habits. Yeah, he had a shit season and still had 1,000. Impressive. I think if you ask most people walking down the street how many yards Calvin Ridley had last year, they'd probably say 750, 800.
He had a
sneak wrap.
A 3-game stretch in week 3 to 5 where he had 2 catches for 14 yards in the three combined weeks.
That's very impressive. It's very impressive that he got 1,000 yards. Still in that season. Yep. Ooh. W Subby coming in here from Moose 2727, 38 months. Don't grow on trees. We hitting a 6-man NFL season long this year. Moose, I love where your head's at. I love the positivity. I would love to smack an NFL season long lineup. I'm sure Devon will have one. I'll have one. We'll do a BTL one as well. You guys are going to have plenty of options. Just checking some odds on the MLB slate real quick, seeing where they're moving along. All right. Any other things to add about the Titans? Goots, you got any cool factoids or Goots nugs about the Titans?
No, I like Cam more though.
Okay.
I do. I'm excited to watch him.
So do I.
Yeah.
Not getting talked about enough. Maybe he is this week.
Yeah.
I know people are starting to get hyped to lock him back into football, but at least in the offseason, not getting talked about enough.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Let's pivot. Let's talk about some college football. You guys down? Kansas State. Oh, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again, Jovan. Oh, shit. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's just unbelievable.
Yep. New Year, same shit. I can't give up. I didn't hear no bell. I'm running it back with Avery Johnson. See how that goes. Look, I was shocked to see this team getting the respect they were after what the fuck we saw last season, who, by the way, after just a terrible season, a year of letdowns, a year where they didn't respect coins, a year when they were favorites, they never came through, they still won 9 games. They might have been the worst 9-win team I've ever seen. But you knew the talent was there. The potential was there. At least I saw it. My thing is, Jovan, you have a QB who's just a stud on the ground. A great dual threat guy. Why are we trying to make him turn into Tom Brady in the pocket? Why are we forcing him to throw? I guess half the reason is because they were losing a lot of games last year and they had to. But also, they'd start games out passing the rock. What are we doing? Why are they getting so cute? You have a QB who is a dual threat specialist. The guy can absolutely wear down defenses on the ground. I want to see them run the rock more this year. And I think after last season, you will. You will. After they lose their stud running back. And again, they have a couple others who are going to be great again this year. They might as well start calling this fucking team RBU. They always have good running backs. And I'm kind of in on Dylan Edwards again this season. But after they lose their stud, starting running back, you might have to see Avery Johnson run the rock a little bit more himself. They better for that reason. And also for the reason of, let's give our QB a chance, who's more of a runner than a thrower anyways. I think you see him grind on the ground this season. I think you see Kansas State find some success that way. And their defense is always good, man. At least since I've been following football, their defense is always solid. So I like the coach. I don't love the coach. I like the bounce back year, if we can even call it that. They still sneakily won 9 games the last 2 seasons. So how much of a down year really could it have been? But I'm kind of buying into the Wildcats here in the Big 2-5, Jovan. And the fact that they were the shortest odds to win this conference and the shortest odds to make their conference championship caught my eye.
You know why, Krabs?
Why?
So they have far and away, it's not even remotely close, easiest schedule in the Big 12.
Good. And just like we're going to lean into the 49ers this year because they have the easiest strength of schedule, same thing goes with the Kansas State team coming off, in their opinion, a down year. It might not be a down year if you look at the win-loss records, but if you ask the guys on that team, they would certainly say they had higher expectations than what they produced last season in the Big 2-4. I think in the Big 2-5, another offseason under Avery Johnson's belt, I like this kid. I think he was a highly touted QB prospect for a reason. I think he shows his best, but I think it's because he's more Lamar-esque in the Big 2-5 and not trying to be fucking Tom Brady. I think this defense will keep them in every game they're in this entire season. Their strength of schedule is absolute cupcake. And I'm buying in to Kansas State in the Big 2-5. They are plus 550 to win their conference. That's some serious respects. They're plus 430. I think it's a pretty darn good look to make the college football playoffs. I'll be sprinkling that myself. I don't know if they have the juice to win the Natty, but I do think they can make the playoffs. And that's why I have this team as my projected number 9 seed in the upcoming college football playoffs this year. I'm buying back into the Wildcats. I'm buying back in, Jovan. I know this might trigger you a little bit from the game we were at, the conference championship we were at a couple years ago. I know.
No, not even that. I like Kansas State. You and I'm sure most of the chat know my thoughts on Avery Johnson. He's Big 12 Jalen Monroe, where we keep trying to convince ourselves that he's good year after year.
Well, they're not putting him in good spots.
The defenses are not putting him in good spots. They're just spying him on both sides of the line and saying, throw to beat us. You can't.
Well, they're getting all this line respect. And we could flip the page here, Goots. We can go to my best bet here real quick because it kind of correlates to what we're talking about right now. Yeah, they're going to QB spy him on both sides. They're going to make him beat him through the air, right? If that's the case, and this team has the easiest schedule this season, Jovan, after Avery Johnson had 28 yards in the air last year, why the hell is his passing yards this low? Why is his passing yards this low?
Yeah, fair.
His passing yards is this low because they're going to be winning a lot of games. They're not going to need to pass. Number 1. Number 2, they're going to be in a lot of low-scoring affairs. Again, shit teams with their good defense. Number 3, I think the game plan offensively changes a little bit this year in the Big 2-5, and they try to play to their QB's strengths for the first time. Stop trying to force him to be Tom Brady. He's not Tom. Let him be Lamar. Let him run the rock. That's how they win. And that's why this number is so low. Again, people are going to think, oh, you're backing Kansas State to make the college football playoffs, but you're taking Avery Johnson less than passing yards? Yes. You know why? Because if a team's winning games in a bunch of low-scoring affairs and they're running the rock and the clock is ticking the whole time, the QB is not going to have as many passing yards. It's like taking a goalie more than saves. People think, oh, you're fading that team. No, I'm actually, or you're backing that team because you're taking the goalie more than saves. No, you're actually fading that team because you're expecting the opponent to be ripping puck. It's the same type of scenario. The reason why this passing yards is so low is because they're going to be winning all these games, low-scoring affairs, because their defense is going to be good once again. And they're going to change the game plan a hair, play to Avery Johnson's strengths. It's the only chance they got. Stop trying to get cute. Stop trying to make him be a pocket passer at times. Let him run the rock.
Yeah.
I'm in on Avery Johnson this year. I think he plays well, but I'm taking his less than passing yards.
Yeah, for what it's worth, too, I think pretty much top down in the Big 12, like almost every defense is going to come in significantly improved. There are like a lot of bad ones, especially in the pass game last year, and a lot of them are going to be a lot better, especially the ones they're going to see. Like Texas Tech is going to be better, TCU is going to be better, Baylor is going to be better. It's a different challenge. So I'm always in on fading them, regardless of what it means.
Yeah, and this conference is kind of a crapshoot. That's why I was so caught off guard, the law and respect they're getting. And again, there's reasons that make it make sense. They got a lot of good returning players coming back. Not really receivers, though. I mean, Jovan, their receiving core is quail shit.
J.C. Brown
Terrible.
and Duran Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, great. Two, veterans, but they haven't done shit ever in their careers. Is that moving needle? Again, I think it goes with their game plan in the Big 2-5. They don't need to bring in or want to bring in or spend their, NIL money on these big name receivers because they're not going to be passing the rock this year. Number one, they're not going to need to. Number two, that's not the game plan. Attack on the ground. Old school. Run the damn rock. That's how Kansas State wins in the Big 2-5.
Could see that.
Excited to hear your number 9 seed here after I address some chats. Better chance Arizona State wins this conference again than okay. Almost had me there, dudes. All right. We got Big Comma coming in, dropping a follow. Big Comma. I don't know if anybody's told you this today or not, but I will. You're him. You're him, Big Comma. I appreciate you, Beast. All right. And yeah, no Arizona State respect. If you're buying stock for the Sun Devils right now, Goots, bless your heart, Rab, bless your heart, you don't know ball. You don't know how this shit works. Might be a first timer. I don't know. Maybe it's your first year watching college football. You don't know ball.
No more ball than Nats fans.
Let's move on to Jovan's projected number 9 seed in the upcoming college football playoffs, folks. Quack.
Go with the Ducks. Not a team that I'm super in love with necessarily, because we've talked about it. Like, I'm not a Dante Moore fan necessarily, even though all reports, whether they're from Oregon or not, are just pointing out that he's going to be the greatest Oregon quarterback of all time. It's going to look like Mariota out there, be even better than Dylan Gabriel was. I can't buy it because I've seen the guy at UCLA, and obviously it's a much different situation, much different system. But the biggest issue with him was decision-making and quick decisions, which is all you're going to have to do in that system. So I think he'll be good. I don't think he'll be great, which is why I think they'll be kind of edging around this 9 seed, the team that probably just misses out on the Big Ten championship by a game or two. But I still think this team is loaded, and it especially helps when you look at their schedule. We've talked about all of these games where, whether it's Penn State or Ohio State, like they're in much better scheduling spots, and they have a few bigger spots. But Oregon, realistically, like looking up and down their schedule, they have the tough game that's going to be at the whiteout at Penn State, which I wanted to fade, not just because it's a huge game for Penn State. Whole world's in on Penn State, I agree. But I wanted to really fade Oregon when they took one of these bigger trips towards the East Coast, because they really haven't had like one of those bigger games yet. And the closest they came to that was Wisconsin last year. So like they have that with Penn State this year. You can say they have that with Iowa as well. We'll see how that ends up. And not an East Coast trip, but probably a much better game. You have that at Washington later in the season. But I think outside of that, the schedule is still relatively cake. Obviously, you avoid the Ohio State matchup, so you're not playing both Penn State and Ohio State. You still, like, regardless of what Dante Moore gives you, you bring in Mekhi Hughes, absolutely electric running back out of Tulane. He's going to be great. Kind of reminds me of what that team had with Bucky Irving before he got drafted. But you have him. You do lose probably Evan Stewart. I don't know if this is official or not, but the reports are saying he's probably out for the season. So you're going to be relying on some younger pieces. Decory Moore is going to be great. I'm so in on him regardless of Dante Moore. But that offense is loaded. And I realistically don't think many teams are going to give them much of an issue outside of, the Penn States, maybe the Iowas, since that game's on the road, and then the Washington at the end of the season. The Scream's a team that kind of skates by throughout the Big Ten season and then probably gets plunked by a better team in the playoff. We'll see where they end up, but I still think they're going to be there.
Back in the Ducks after they go undefeated in the Big 2-4, eh? Sure.
I mean, I would argue putting them at 9 isn't really backing them too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're what, third shortest odds to win and make the playoff, or fourth or somewhere around there. So, I mean, I think a lot of people view them a lot more highly than we do.
Yeah.
It's just I don't have the balls to say that Dan Lanning is going to be out of the playoff. So I don't think he will.
Dan Lanning, great coach.
Great coach.
Great coach. Great motivator. Okay. Good points. You're right. After going undefeated last year and having a stacked team last year, maybe it's not, really backing them, putting them at 9. Okay. And I don't want to spoil the rest of my list, so we'll just leave it at that. Is there an X factor on this team you're looking forward to? Is it Mackie Hughes probably coming in from, was it Tulane? Makai Hughes?
Yeah, from Tulane.
Like,
no, I would say it's Decoria Moore because
okay.
That wide receiver room has a lot of talent, and I feel like he's the pivotal piece. Not only is he going to have that much bigger of a role after the Evan Stewart injury, but it feels like to me, I'm looking at this team, and I think Dante Moore has to be good for this team to be good. Not a hot take, but I'm saying it in the sense that, I don't know if he has to be great for this team to reach, I guess, what people think they're going to reach. I think the wide receiving core has to make life easy on them, which in the system kind of always plays true. But when you lose a top target like Evan Stewart, whoever emerges out of there, whether he's the dynamic playmaker, he's just the alpha in the wide receiving room, that kind of is the turning point for a young, I guess not young quarterback, but a quarterback that's his first full go at this system where he's completely different from where he was at his first spot. I feel like Decoria Moore has to be the guy that a lot of us expect him to be for this Oregon team. So he feels like the X factor to me.
Just some crazy chats going on right now. Crazy chats going on while you're talking. And by the way, the wide receiver stud freshman that you're talking about right now, Decoria Moore and Dante Moore, the QB, they're not related.
No.
Not related. Same last name, though. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I just confirmed not related. And Jovan, important question here. You ever think about getting that Cheetos toe tap?
LaMelo needs to be just put behind the barn for that, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a crazy move. Look, to each his own, and I'm not here to judge much, but that is a little absurd. A little
insane, bro.
A little absurd.
Type of Tat Nats fans would get.
Unbelievable, man. Love that.
Love that. Still dragging that nuts. Good to see you lurking in the chat, my man. Krabs, will we ever get another 999 challenge? I don't know, man. I'm retired. Now, people do come out of retirement a time or two, but as of right now, I am retired from the challenge. Okay?
I don't know if you can after wrestling up some feathers, man.
Well, I could try to do it as quickly as possible like J.J. Watt did and prove that it's easier and get that done pretty quickly.
And Brad Cornelson.
Matt Gauthier, ridiculous comment. Ridiculous comment from Matt Gauthier in the Twitch chat. Okay. Sade Whiteman also coming in, giving out another subby. Sade, you are him. You're him. All right, Jovan, I want you to talk about your best bet for Oregon this upcoming season. Ooh.
Yeah, when this game happens, Krabs?
Week 7.
It's the game after Penn State with a bye week in between, which Indiana's also coming off a bye week, so that's not a give them an advantage spot necessarily, but I think we are all in agreement what's going to happen when Oregon goes out east to the whiteout game. Then you come back on the West Coast, which to be fair and use all the same logic, Oregon, I certainly want to fade them. And a lot of the Big Ten teams, I said the same thing going into last year when they go east to a lot of these road trips, and we did that. Same kind of goes for a lot of these, I guess, non-Ohio State, even though they also lost, but non-Ohio State, non-Penn State teams when they go west for the first time for one of these big games. And boy, do I want to fade the fuck out of Indiana, especially because you think Oregon's going to be coming off a loss in a big spot. Even if they were to win that game at Penn State, I still think this is a terrible spot for Indiana, and this is where they get got. And especially because Fernando Mendoza is the quarterback, and Oregon is very familiar with him, and they made him look confused quite a few times when he was at Cal, which I was very unfortunate to see. But I think this is a disastrous spot. If there's any game that I look at Indiana's schedule and this looks like Ohio State, it's this one.
I didn't hear a single fucking thing you said reading through these chats. I'm going to just be completely honest with you. I didn't hear a single thing you said. Read the like lightning. Read that out loud.
I don't know if I can read it out loud.
Read it out loud.
I feel like to hear that, you got to give the sacrifice.
You guys are really locking in, huh? can tell you're really dialed today, chat, huh? Really looking at that slate hard, huh? You sons of guns. This might be the worst punishment we put on the fucking wager wheel ever. Ever. This is worse than the hot chip that made me throw up foam. I threw up foam. I threw up bubbles.
Foam.
I threw up foam and bubbles coming out of my stomach after the one chip challenge. This is worse. This is worse. Should probably see a doctor about that. But yep. Threw up foam. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 20 minutes left and no talk about today's slate is criminal. Who chatted that?
Who you think about? Who you think?
Just so much bitching. Always bitching about something, man.
You got a loaded
Instead of
slate
locking
today.
in
We
and
are
having some
in
laughs
our
together.
same time frame as always. And he's bitching like we don't got full slates every day of the week, and he's in fucking Cancun every other day.
Tailing anything. You could just text Jovan for the plays after the stream. It's not like you're tailing anything from the show.
Yeah,
not like it matters anyways.
You're just looking at the graphic.
Yeah, just check out Jovan's plays on the Sharpboard graphic. You don't even need to listen to us talk about it. Okay. Jovan, laying it with Oregon. Big old number against Indiana. Selling high on Indiana. 2 words. Sign me up. I'm in. I'm in. Okay. Dubs. And here we go. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's get to some plays. Let's talk about them. All right. Rapid fire sharp report. How about 3 first fivers? Vintage.
Straight first fivers. Now you know
Vintage.
Trent ain't telling.
Vintage. 3 first fivers. Okay. Start out with the Red Sox. Dick Fitz. Good to have Dick Fitz back on the sharp report here after the first time this entire season we don't back Dick Fitz or fade Dick Fitz. And by the way, just name of the millennium on the Diamonds. Give me a fucking break. Craziest name, probably in all of sports. Dick Fitz.
Same name.
And yes, he's back on the sharp report again today. We'll talk about him in a moment here, but also taking the Red Sox first 5. Get in, get out. I like seeing the Red Sox catching steam here on the road, about 10, 15 sets of steam on the roads after Dick Fitz had just an atrocious outing. Thought that was kind of weird. And I want to fade this Twins team that's just not good, man. I'm done thinking the Twins are good. I'm done buying in the Twin stock. I think Buxton now is hurt once again. Bless his heart, glass bones. I want to fade Woods Richardson, who has a crazy hits allowed square up there as well. Extremely red, very high. I think the Red Sox stay hot. They get to him again. Their bats, they do job. They do job once again. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Don't let the Red Sox get hot. It might be too late. But avoiding their bullpen on the roads, I want to just get out here with a little first 5 wager, backing Dick Fitz to go out there and shove, and fading Simeon Woods Richardson, who has some squares up there on Prize Picks to make me think he's not going to have his best outing of the season today. So get out with the Red Sox first fivers.
Yeah, I'm in. Definitely debated getting in with the Red Sox, and I will join you.
What do you got? First straight bet of the day today.
First straight bet, go against the line move for Mets Padres and say fuck it and stick where my head's at, which is the over. Especially, I think this is a Padres spot, not just because I know it's not the farthest travel, but fading the Sunday Night Baseball team off of travel is always great. But Frankie Montas has sneakily been pretty dialed since he came back. He had like one really bad start. I guess this was over a month ago, I think. I forget who it was against, but one really bad start. And then since that, he's been relatively nails. I know he just had a couple of nice starts. One was against the Angels and the Royals, which was surprising to me that he could have success against, I guess, the Royals even. I know the offense isn't great, but he hasn't been great historically against teams that don't strike out very much. And what do you know? He beat it. He gets another one today. And the leash is going to have to be long, which I'm interested to see how they maneuver that, because the Mets not only are coming Sunday night off of travel, but they used a lot of their bullpen last night. They've used Edwin Diaz and Reed Garrett for 2 straight days. They're not going to be available. Budo and Soto pitched yesterday. Don't know what their status is going to be, but they're in a little tougher of a spot bullpen-wise. So if you're going to give me Frankie Montas in a spot where not only do I think, I don't want to say to get hit up because you can't really bet like that all the time, but he's getting away with a lot of stuff since he's come back, and he's been living in the zone pretty heavy. And we know Padres, when they're on their shit, they still don't strike out very much, but they make pitchers' lives very tough who do that at times. I feel like this is the perfect spot for that. And the fact that you're adding on to the fact that I don't know what the bullpen is going to look like for the Mets tonight in a travel spot too, both because of the usage and because of the travel spot. This screams a spot where he gets hit up early to me, and then who knows like what arms are going to be available to come in after that. None of them I'd really be too petrified of. And I think you're probably going to get a longer relief guy in that like bridge type couple innings, which would not be one of the top arms, obviously, for the Mets. So I think the Padres have, what it takes to pile it on. I still just can't really trust Dylan Cease at all, too, if we're talking about the other side, which he's put together like a couple starts. They give you some hope, a little glimmer of hope that some corners around or something's around the corner, like for him to turn it around. I don't know that I see it, especially because like same deal. Like the Mets, they're going to make your life tough as an AB, and they're not going to strike out as much, I guess, as some of the other teams that Cease has faced when he's had good outings. So I'm not so sure the offense is going to be dead coming off of Sunday Night Baseball. So I think it makes sense, I guess, on paper for Cease to come back and have like a relatively good outing, win the game. I don't know that I'm quite there either. So I'm just going with the over, more so in case we get a Cease Turkey Fest, because I feel pretty locked in about Montas in the pen.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is looking at some of Cease's squares, but again, it's big name Dylan Cease, so that cancels out a little bit if you're feeling strongly about this over. So I could get with it. I mean, it's Dylan Cease still. He might be moose shit this season, but they're not going to put his fantasy score much lower.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's also last appearance before. I know his name's getting thrown around trade talks, so I love fading guys where that's a possibility. And this is the last start before then.
Okay. All right, we'll talk more about that game in a moment. WSL job. And yeah, Goots is doing backflips behind the scenes right now, looking at the rest of your sharp report. But we'll come back to it. We'll save the best for last, as always. Gootsy, swinging around for me, will you? Dubs. Cardinals. God, the Cardinals got embarrassed in that last series. And by the way, shout out Eric Fetty getting released and the Braves picked him up. Yeah, that should help. Hilarious move. That tells you the Braves aren't locked in the Big 2-5. Unbelievable move. But good to see the Cardinals letting him go, honestly. He's been that fucking bad. And the Cardinals have been bad. Right? And at this point, coach is coaching for his job. He's coaching for his life. Players are playing for their jobs. They're playing for their lives. And they're facing a hot team right now, unfortunately, although they are at home. They welcome in the Marlins, who've won 4 of their last 5. They're playing pretty good baseball right now. If you haven't tapped into the Marlins and seen what they've been doing of late, they're scoring runs. They're fun. They got a bunch of young guys, and they're winning games. Now, how long is that going to last? I don't know. And again, I'm not taking the full game here for the Cardinals and fading the Marlins full game, but I will take the Cardinals to get out to a hot start after getting absolutely embarrassed in their last outing, or last 2 games, to be completely honest with you, after the bench is cleared against the Padres. You saw them lose that game, and then they went on to lose 9-2 in that game right after. That was a statement game for Manny Machado. The Padres are pissed. They showed it, and the Cardinals got stuffed in a locker. Well, I think the Cardinals hit the reset button after that, and I'll bet the human aspect of this game, not just the X's and O's. I think the Cardinals wake up and they have a look in a mirror, and we're professionals, and we got to bounce back after getting embarrassed by Manny Machado and co. type of game. I think they show up, and if you look at the prize pick squares for both starting pitchers, you'll notice that Palante, his squares are looking like he's going to absolutely fucking shove today, which would be a rarity at this point because the guy's been stinking it up. And then you look at Edward Cabrera's squares, Jovan. He's got some of the nastiest squares up there on prize picks today, and a lot of fire emojis next to his squares, which you know what that means, probably cake. So I want to fade Edward Cabrera today. I don't want to make a habit out of fading the Marlins, but right now in this game, looking at prize picks, looking at the odds, and this Cardinals team, the way they've been playing, still his favorites in the spot with Palante, who's got that near 5 ERA against Edward Cabrera, who everybody thinks is, a new up-and-coming ace. I want to get involved here. And again, not going to lock the Cardinals in full game. They don't respect coins. Just get out with the first 5 ML. Certainly some push potential, but looking at the prize pick squares for Edward Cabrera, I simply cannot resist.
Yeah, you might have to do it. Understandable.
Yep. Palante at home, too, gives me a chance. Gives me a chance.
He does.
Okay. All right. Swinging around, I want Jovan's second straight bet here. Wow, I've heard a lot of guarantees, a lot of money back guarantees in the chat saying I will put my life on the line. The Dodgers win this game. Love seeing the Reds on your card.
Yeah, we're in a familiar spot, Krabs. A pivotal point where the Reds are playing well. I feel like we get to this point every single year, but we definitely did on the first playoff bet where they were getting all this momentum, and then what do you know? The Dodgers step into Cincy, and that seems to be the turning point. That was the that ball I had a family series the first time around, and here we are again. The Reds are, I believe, a game out of the wild card right now after, unfortunately, it took a sacrifice of a sweep by the Rays to get there, but they're there, and this seems to be all like this is the series for everything. You get a tough matchup like game after game because you're getting Glass now, Otani, and Yamamoto in this 3-game series. But this is where you build momentum going into the trade deadline, where realistically the Reds need to get a bat, probably need to get an arm too. We'll see what they end up doing. I think they'll be feeling around for like Lubob and O'Hearn and even like Yandy or some of those guys. We'll see what they end up with. But crucial series, going to be an amazing series. And I'm looking at this game, and one thing that stands out from the Reds over the past handful of weeks now, especially like the last two where they've been playing great baseball, they've been super patient, especially against a lot of these pitchers. And I watch this a lot in the Rays series that love to attack low in the zone with changeups, with splitters, with all of that. Yamamoto loves to do that, partially because what he has that goes down the zone is so good. But out of like the last couple of games, last couple of starts he's had, if you're patient on him, you've been able to not only drive up his pitch count, but you've been getting him to pump fastballs in the zone, which the Reds have been killing that as of late. They definitely killed that over the weekend. So I think this is the series for them. And I think you're going to see a lot of runs in this series, contrary to what you would think by looking at some of the pitching matchups and contrary to what you just saw in the Reds or the Reds Rays series, where I think every game went under and it wasn't even relatively close. So I think you get runs here. And I think there's definitely a reason why the line has mysteriously moved 30 cents back to the Reds when Yamamoto is not only Yamamoto, but he's in a bounce back spot where you would think in a matchup where a team, he might get a strikeouts, but they strike out a lot against right-handed pitching. He obviously has great strikeout stuff, and that hasn't really changed over the last couple starts, even when he's getting hit up. I think this is the matchup for him. I think they're going to outweight him in a lot of these ABs. They're going to be super patient, which, again, that's how they found success in the last week or so. Like, the power hasn't even been there. Like, Ellie hasn't hit a home run in, like, almost a month now, but he's hitting 320 over that stretch. So, like, guys are kind of built like that right now. And timely hits are coming, and I think this is the perfect matchup for them to do so to start the series, which, again, is why the ML has mysteriously creeped down, especially when you have a rookie pitcher on the other side who's been very up and down in Chase Burns.
Dude, I love looking at Yamamoto's fantasy score and seeing it just a hair low. I know they're pitching in a hitters-friendly park, but gives me some hope here. Gives me some hope here. Okay.
I can't remember the last time I've seen him that low.
Good. It makes a little bit of baseball sense, right? But
yeah,
I mean, the Reds catching 40 cents of steam, 30 cents of steam with Chase Burns and that 7 ERA against Yamamoto, that is crazy, and that I cannot resist. So I'll be tailing this play with you. Great find.
Sure.
Great find.
It's also, you don't get too many green 2.5 run squares against really good teams in Great American Ballpark, and Chase Burns just gave up 5 to your Nats, and he's sitting up there for that square today, which is odd. I would have expected even like I kind of decided I was going to bet on them because I was betting against Yamamoto more than I was betting on Burns. So like I didn't even look at the square at the time, but I was expecting more so to like have to eat that and look at that, and it's like minus 170 gob, but it's not. I know the Dodgers have been colder as of late, but rookie tax in Great American Ballpark is crazy. I don't think a single Rays pitcher other than Pepio, like he had 2.5 run square up, but his was super juice the over and eventually got taken off the board. And then like Littell had a gob. I forget who else pitched, but he had a gob. Chase Burns doesn't.
That is weird. All right, we're going to pick up the tempo and pace here a hair so we can get through the rest of these plays and cash a squad ride, or at least try to craft one up and cash one. Swing it around for Bookit. Yeah, this is where I might disagree with you a hair on that over, but I certainly don't think the game goes under. I just have a different pivot here, I guess, and I do think Dylan Cease pitches well today. Looking at that fantasy score, I honestly thought about getting involved, but Padres first fivers on the ML. Want to back the Padres to stay hot after their last series with the Cardinals, where Manny Machado got super pissed. They showed they kind of flexed their muscles a little bit, and I saw more life out of the Padres the last 2 nights than I have the entire season, straight up. And seeing them, catching some steam as well against the Mets, who are on a crazy win streak right now. And again, fading streaks in baseball is sketchy, guys. It's sketchy a little bit, but I'm taking them first 5, getting it out. And I would not be surprised the way the Padres season is going. If they blow this game late, the Mets come back. Maybe Juan Soto hits another nuke and shuts people up from chirping him because he's him. Would not be surprised to see the Mets come back in this game the way they've been playing, the way they've been winning. Would not be shocked. But again, here, I'll take the Dylan Cease-led Padres first 5 to be up through 5 innings here against Montes, like you talked about. Certainly want to fade him, but I do think Dylan Cease might pitch okay, gives us a chance, and I do think the Padres offense carries weight here. They stay hot after 2 great games. I just think there's a chance Dylan Cease pitches pretty well. Looking at prize picks, And seeing the Padres still catch some respect here, being minus 130 against the hottest team in baseball, the way they've been playing overall, I thought that was some serious respect. So I'll get it out, and I will hold. I'll leave out the full game here, so I don't have to fade the red hot Mets. I hate fading streaks. I'll go first fivers, getting it out. Okay.
Sure, I can respect that.
All right, let's talk about the O's. Unbelievable.
The O's. I wonder what the reaction will be like on this play. But playing the Jays in Baltimore, Krabs. It's going to be a weird 4-game series here starting today. But Chris Bassett has been great for the most part. He did have, I think it was 2 starts ago, one of the luckiest starts of all time. I think he was like the first Blue Jay starter ever to give up 10 hits and not a run. So that happened against the Giants, I'm pretty sure. But he still has a 5.8 ERA on the road, which I don't think people would think looking at what he's done so far. He's just been fortunate enough, A, to have a lot of his starts be in Toronto, but B, even looking at all of his road starts, they haven't been the most challenging matchups, and he's still getting yoinked outside of, I guess, the White Sox a couple starts ago. You get 6 innings, 1-run ball. But other than that was when he gave up probably his worst start of the year. He gave 8 runs on the road in Fenway. He got 4 runs and still not a terrible start against the Cardinals in St. Louis. He went to Tampa and gave up 5 runs and got chased out of the 4th inning in that one. So he hasn't been good on the road at all. And sneakily, a lot of this Orioles lineup, they've been much better and just good overall, some of the top of the lineup, but much better overall sinker slider hitters, which I've noticed that over the last couple of starts that they've faced a couple of them. So I think this is a great matchup for him. So I think the bats get alive, and I think this is a really bad Bassett start, which is super rare when you can say that in conjunction with him playing a team like the Orioles. But when he's on the road, I kind of view him the same as Palante. When the matchup is there and he's on the road, I'm going to stick with it because it makes a lot of baseball sense. He's just been very fortunate to get out of that. So the anti-Bassett plus Orioles that pick him is just hilarious, especially because Eflin is the one Orioles pitcher who doesn't typically get line respect, I've noticed, outside of a weird square here, a weird square there. But it's usually the Saganos, the Kramers of the world. You get a lot more weird lines. Eflin's not really one of them. This feels like that today.
All right. Goots, you want to share that nug that you were talking about earlier? This game simply means more for the O's. You think it's important?
Yeah, it's Jordan Westford bobblehead night as well, which is awesome. But there is a kid, his name's Mo Gaba, who was in Ravens locker rooms, Orioles locker rooms. He had cancer for years, and it's the 5-year anniversary of him dying. So
yeah,
big night in Baltimore.
More.
Yes,
this one means more for the O's. They're talking about it. It's all over the feed, and that only adds fuel to the fire here. Orioles ML. This one simply means more tonight, folks.
Yep. And I'll be there.
Goots on ground.
Goots on ground.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the prize pick squares. We got to rapid fire through these puppies. You ready?
Yep.
I'll make mine quick. Dick Fitz. Less than 2.5 earned runs allowed. Love taking nasty earned run squares, especially after the guy's coming off a heinous start. He's got that green bar. He gave up 7 runs, I believe, in that last outing. That's where I found the most success with these squares. Knock on wood. Taking a less than on a guy after he has just the worst start of his fucking season. So, knock on wood. This is the play here for tonight. My favorite square today. Trent, I repeat, favorite square today. So if you're putting one in there, take Richard Fitz. Less than 2.5 earned runs allowed. My favorite square today for the collab. And please send me the link as well because I'll be, on the plane. Would love the tail. Give me Richard Fitz. Less than 2.5 earned runs allowed. Love the Sox early. I think he goes out there and shoves and bounces back. And then I'll take a nasty, nasty square. I mean, just maybe the grossest one on the boards. If you look at the chart as well, I mean, Jesus. Kachanowicz, he's terrible. He's bad. But I got a weird feeling about Kachanowicz today going out there and pitching pretty decently tonight for the Angels. And decent for him. Look, I don't even know what to expect, but seeing the total in this game at 8.5, seeing him going against Jacob deGrom, who at times has had some run support issues when he goes out there and starts. I've already seen this one. This is more of a gut feel play where I think this game goes under. Under was an honorable mention on the card for today for the Sharp Report, but I think it's a low-scoring game. Again, I don't think the Rangers' offense, and they've been hot of late, I don't think they help out deGrom too much. I think this game is a little weirder and closer than people expect, and I want to take a juicy under on the books. Kachanowicz, less than 5.5 hits allowed tonight against the red-hot Rangers.
Yeah, I think that game might be the Angels, which honestly I think deGrom might get hit up, which is rare.
Wow.
But can only help with how weird. If there was any weird series line that stood out, it was the fact that the Rangers are going deGrom and Eovaldi, and they're only minus 140 to win this series, which is that feels incredibly telling. So maybe this is one of the games.
I wish it was as easy as Nick Hennessy saying in the chat. DeGrom isn't getting hit up by the Angels. Rangers -1.5. Guys, remember, if it was that easy, we'd all be retired already. Let's keep that in mind. We'd all be retired and have penthouses, and the books would be bankrupt. Keep that in mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Jovan,
Also,
rapid fire through
on
your
the
squares,
road.
my man.
Yeah, sneak guy I've been riding with for a little bit now as he's coincidentally gotten hot over this little stretch, J-Rod.
Sure.
And I did good in not putting this over on the card, even though I'm absolutely taking it. It's up to 7.5 late night in Sacramento. But I had to get some piece of it on the sharp report, and that is this. JP Sears is coming off of just his classic great start against the Rangers like he seems to do every single time he's out there. But I think the Mariners are going to get to him today, especially because everything sets up for the A's are coming off of this great series, swept a 4-game Astros, and now there's a sharp line move to them. They might even be favorites pretty soon here. Feels like the spot where they lay a dud, and I don't think it's going to be with their bats. I think it's going to be with their arms. So J-Rod's been killing left-handed pitching as of late. Been killing everything, but I think this is the spot for him. I could go deeper into the matchup, but we don't have time for that. So I'm taking his fantasy score, and then the best sinker slider hitter on the Orioles roster gets to see a guy who loves to do a shit ton of it. One of the rare times I'll be taking Sweet Baby Jackson and putting Goots' legacy on the line. So I think he's the guy that starts and finishes it for the O's.
Yeah, back in Sweet Baby Jackson today. I'm super down. I have a feeling we're going to bring up this game again here in a moment when we craft up a little squad ride play. You in?
I'm in.
I will drop the link as well once the poll goes up for the sharp report format. I just locked it in myself. Okay? For now, Goots, if you don't mind, if you got a second, run that shit. I'm trying to see that train. All right, chat. Let's start out the week with a bang. Let's cash a fucking squad ride tonight. Why not us? We're going to have a live sweats in the office tonight. I'll be a little bit late coming from my flight, but very excited to sweat out some MLB with you guys tonight. Let's set the tone for the week. Let's start out 1-0 this week and cash a squad ride. Okay? Jovan, favorite play of the day today. What do you got?
You mean you want me to say it, Krabs?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Put him in. Ozuna. This one simply means more. Goots on grounds. They're playing for Mo. Weird line. If you guys are not bought in, go look at some of the squares for Zach Eflin. And go look at Chris Bassett's fantasy score if you're not bought in. Those are two honorable mention squares there too, Trent. If you're looking to add some other pieces, some pitcher pieces to that collab lineup. Chris Bassett, less than fantasy score, looking at me funny. Zach Eflin, more than pitching outs, looking at me funny. Two decent looks. Okay? Jovan, I think it's the Cardinals, man. Cardinals first 5. I simply cannot stop thinking about it. Yep.
I thought you were going to have that one in third place out of yours.
Maybe that's a good thing because usually my favorite play loses and my, second and third favorite win. Maybe that's a good thing.
Fair.
Also down to put in the Red Sox if you are.
Oh, I'm very down. Extremely down putting the Red Sox.
You like them better than the Padres?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Last question. Are we getting cute and putting the Reds in this puppy, man? I just feel like it feels right.
Yeah.
And I feel like they get a win tonight. What do you think?
I think so too. I don't even think it's getting cute. I think this is their game.
Okay. All right. Let's go 4 plays, 4 winners for the squad ride poll. Rapid fire poll, 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get your fucking votes in. Hurry up. You got 2 minutes. Orioles ML, Cardinals first 5 ML. We got the Red Sox first 5 ML and the Reds on the ML. A couple first 5ers and a couple nasty money lines on the diamond for tonight. And again, guys, you can lock in all the plays on here responsibly and hope to go, 3-1, shit, maybe even 4-0. Who knows what the night holds tonight? Get involved responsibly and feel free to tail any of the plays from the Sharp Report. Feel free to tail a play that might not even win this. And I will be voting for the Orioles. In this poll, this one simply means more. Give me the O's on the ML.
Goes.
Okay. Dennis in the
Bird
YouTube
bath
said just
derbies.
nuke the O's.
Great.
Wish me luck, he says. I wish you luck, Dennis. Looks like you might not be the only one betting on the O's for tonight's game. Might end up winning the squad ride poll. Get those votes in, folks. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get them in. Gootsy. You got a search stream right after this, huh? Rumor has it.
Rumor might have.
Let's fucking go, Goots. Let's
We
go,
got
Trent.
one. Rumor has it Trent really likes the Nats tonight too.
I bet he does. That's just awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Woo. My head might pop off my body this week, folks. Head might pop off body in GTA with this special week. Special week. Just wait till the moves start getting made. I'm going to lose it. Sade Whiteman as well coming in, dropping a resub for the people. Not even for him, for the peeps. Sade, you're very generous. We appreciate you, Beast. Cannot let that get swept. And MPM Wave as well coming in, dropping a follow along with Big Comma. Remember, Big Comma, you're him. Don't let anybody tell you differently. You're him. Okay? Get those votes in. Hurry up. Go, go, go. It looks like it's going to be the O's on the ML. This one simply means more, folks. It does. Excited to sweat out the O's ML tonight. Hopefully I can catch the end of it.
We get an O squad ride win.
Come on.
I'll get a Jackson jersey.
Wow.
No way.
Jackson jersey.
No, you won't. You
heard it here first. You heard it here first. All right.
I'm going to be cheering hard for that.
W's. All right, let's get one for Goods, Turnimac. Why not us?
How about it?
W stream today. W Monday. Appreciate all you guys getting involved. Please stick around for the third stream. Pitch Trent a winner. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll do a little in-person BTL tomorrow.